Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I woke up this morning and, showered and everything, and it came downstairs, and the sun was already coming up, so it is definitely spring. Today, Tuesday, April 23rd. Let's go into the charts, shall we? Well, we need to move that down so we can actually see things. So, let's just make this thing big. Yeah. So, here you can see that we had a little bit of a move up yesterday. And they did eventually close higher. So I'm mad that I didn't get my 29.10 before I had to go. But, that was cool. I only took one trade yesterday. Probably, though, if we look in the ZNs, it was probably safe. I mean, we took a dip down. Overnight, we've retraced it, and we've pushed back down to that area, maybe even a little bit lower. There appears to be a very clear sell trend coming in here. So I think that maybe we can be selling, but we'll see. And then I see Jay Constant already asking here about Bitcoin, so let's talk about Bitcoin because they did have a little bit of a move up yesterday past the previous high, I believe. Right? It was 5,500 before, and now it's gone 5,650. Everybody on YouTube is so bullish about the Golden Cross. My observation has been that the Golden Cross, Death Cross means absolutely fucking nothing. Anytime that the media starts talking about that particular indicator, it stops working. It is like something that early investors use to get out. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not going to continue to go up. It's just I personally would ignore it. I'm more interested in value and order flow. So the order flow, of course, is still very much long. But value, we're quite overbought here. Now, I do have some indications that we could actually try to hit that 6K level again. But eventually there has to be a sell-off. And it might be really ugly because there's not a whole lot of fundamental transaction data underlying this whole thing to justify Bitcoin being where it is. So you're gonna see that when they come down, it's gonna be real ugly. I was wondering here with my expander. It just kind of seems like the volume levels go up a little bit too hard. I probably need to tone it down, but it's probably too difficult for me to mess with it right now. Anyways, all right, we're on the thing. Let's make sure we got our Twitter up here. Oh yes, and our Discord, of course. Just call me one tick wonder, people. Maybe I'll get some movement today, says Heidi. So she made a tick yesterday. That's funny. Do we have news on the docket? That's a good question to ask ourselves, and it appears that we really don't. We've got HPI at 7. Oh, you know what? We need to change this. We need to change the time and make it mountain time. $6.23. Good. Filter out everything but the dollar, I guess, for now. Okay, cool. So yes, HPI at 7 o'clock. So interesting that on the open there, a little bit of buying that gives me pause, and I am kind of back to I'm not so sure what it's going to do. E-mini kind of appears that they might have to retrace a bit. I just sold 50%. Well, I think that that's not a bad idea. I mean, here's the problem that I have is that I'm sticking with my indicator, you know? And the indicator says that we're like way overbought. When we get to 150 on the indicator, that's usually an indication that like a bubble is imminent, but it keeps going. It appears to me that people are just buying it for the sake of buying it, and that I think is scary. And so it's kind of like, you know what, it could totally keep going up to like 7K. But man, if you got in at like 3K and it's coming up here to 5K, it's not a bad thing to take profits for sure. Because, you're going to need cash, right? If you don't have cash, you need to have cash. Because at some point, it will come down. At some point, it's going to be worth less than 5,000. And when it is, you're going to want to be able to buy it again, right? So raising cash, I can't tell you if it's going to continue to go up or it's going to go down, but having cash is, strategy-wise, having cash is always a good thing, right? Yeah, them treasuries are just kind of buying. By the way, good morning, Lucas and Wrong. And Uzi, we got everybody in here early today. Good deal. There's no 6:30 news. Also, you notice here that the 10 years moved up a decent amount, but the 30-year has not. The 30-year just wanted to sell. And just noticing here, looking in ZF, that there has been a little bit of spreading. Like they've been buying the short end of the curve. They've been trying to flatten it. That's interesting. And not necessarily a good sign. Perhaps means that they think that it's gone to, see their downtick, and then somebody's buying some at 30.5. Is today going to be a buy day? I don't know. I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really have no clue. ISIS takes credit for Sri Lanka attacks. Were retaliation for Christchurch mosque massacres, says reporting Zero Hedge. Saudi cabinet says followed with interest the development in oil market after the U.S. statement regarding sanctions on Iran oil exports. Saudi cabinet statement reaffirms kingdom policy of achieving stable and balanced oil market. I am quite surprised that oil has not been moving more than it has. It seems to me like the people viewed the announcement as clearly bullish for oil prices, and the Saudis are saying nope, we're going to keep oil prices down or stable at least. And you would think that there would be people trying to fight it, but they're not. It's just kind of fairly clear, although it has gone down a little bit this morning. My technical analysis indicators say they're going to sell all the way down to 23. So let's go check and see what John said in his notes, because he's always has a good read on things. The ZB found supply at that 146.16 level we were watching yesterday. The bull bear zone is in the 146.09 to 13 area. We're below that at the moment. A break of the overnight low of 146.05 could see prices testing the 145.24 area today. Okay. Looking for price to test a prior TPOC at 145.26. If the move to the downside does not develop, I'd be looking for price to retest that 146.19 level we were watching yesterday, followed by a test of 146.24. If a move to the upside really gets rolling. The 10-day average range for ZB is now down to 25-30 seconds, along with the 10-day average volume at 200K. Okay. So he is preferring the downside, and that's kind of where I'm feeling too. I would prefer to sell it, but it's been moving up this morning, so can't say. I heard you say Bitcoin can go to 7K. That is above the titanium resistance. Yeah. So if you get to 7K area is where, well, let's run the indicator here. Because it's been changing rapidly. The thing is that there have been a couple of big blockchain transactions. Well, the question is that really a good thing? Because what if that's people bringing stuff from their wallets to the exchange to sell it? You know what I mean? If it's people taking stuff from the exchange to their wallets, then that helps. Okay, so last one I got was at 23. It's 153. So we can just do the math about where we're at, right? So, why is my calculator so big? Okay, so if we are at, let's say 5,600. Oh, that was at 5,300. 5,300 divided by 153 equals 34 times 200, which is like the all-time high, is 69.28. But if I can pull up the chart here. Um, 23. Here we are. If we look at the chart here, again, this is a chart that we post every day on the Patreon. So if you look at the chart, we never get to 200. We've been to 200 twice. But somewhere around 150, 160 is when we tend to collapse. This, to me, reminds me an awful lot of this kind of move that we had right here and here. When we went to 10K, you remember that? And then it kind of dropped back down and went nowhere. Kind of reminds me of that. I wonder, one of the things that I'm wondering is like, how much of this has been Tether? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, where's the money coming from? Because if they're not actually using it. And I don't think that you want to be in on something that is just a speculative. Well, I mean, obviously that's all we're doing in Bitcoin is it's a speculative. If you're in Bitcoin, you've got to realize that it is a purely speculative vehicle at this point. It has almost no utility. Good morning. Where can I read that John statement you've just mentioned? So if you go to gpitrading.com and you sign up for his newsletter from there. That's John Bottomley's newsletter that he puts out every morning. He has a really, really good read for market profile. Almost everything that I know about that sort of a thing, I learned from him. He'll come in and chat with us every once in a while. In fact, it seems like every time we mention his name, he'll show up. and I've helped him write some automated trading things too that worked pretty well. And yeah, I would totally sign up for it. Coin market cap is at 184.5 billion now. Yesterday it was 177. Oof. Yeah. So the question is like, who's driving the volume, right? I wonder if we go to coinmarketcap.com and we look at Bitcoin here. 24-hour volume. They were trading 1,000, 16 billion yesterday. There's the volume. Volume is actually picking up quite a bit. See, here's one of the other problems that I have with this move. If I can bring this down, okay. So here's like the most recent bull run. You notice how around April to May, there's like a seasonal buying period. You see that? So some of this could just be the time of year. Where is... Oh, here we go. Markets. Oh, that doesn't tell us for Bitcoin itself. I want to know for Bitcoin itself, where is the stuff coming from? Well, let's go to oh man, what is the name of this other website? Datamish. Let's see what Datamish tells us. Bitfinex longs in the past 6 hours. Well, I think that we need to look at it a little bit further out than that. Let's say the last 7 days. Oh, that's very interesting. So the margin players have been taking off their longs and are going short. I mean, that could be fuel to push us higher, but that's a lot of shorts. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to I always get a little weird when we're talking about Bitcoin because, you know, number one, my strategy is based entirely off of that indicator. The indicator says don't buy right now. And it's been a while, you know, like it's gone up quite a bit, you know. So if you're listening to the indicator, which I have been doing, you just haven't been involved. Maybe that's okay. But, you know, there was opportunity there if you wanted to take a short, you know, a swing trade, right? But then, you know, it seems like it's always negative. And I don't want people to be, you know, I don't want anybody to come back and say, oh, Seth, you said that it was going to do this and then it didn't do this. It was, well, I'm just saying what the indicator says. So it's not the gospel, obviously. At some point, it's going to be wrong, right? At some point, they're going to try and push it beyond where it should be able to go. And that's the way that markets work. But I say that you want to take it when the risk reward says that it's optimal. And right now it says that it's not. And that these guys going short almost the whole past week. And the funny thing is that it goes up. They're not taking them off. They're holding on to them. I guess it's not a ton of shorts. I bet you if we really go out like the last 90 days that this will look like a tiny little blip. Oh, actually, it's not too bad. See, we're above where we've had short runs before. It seems like somebody's just really trying hard to short this. Okay, well, we've had a pretty good trend up so far. Yeah, I know there's a way to look at them by exchange, but I just don't remember where it is. And there's a thing to look at like Tether. You know, that's something that I would look at too. Is the money coming from Tether? Because if the money's coming from Tether, I would be particularly. Yeah, no problem, Jay Constant. Anytime. You've been coming around for a long time, and I appreciate that you FT71 is doing a presentation about macros. Anyways, I appreciate that you respect my advice and that you come in and ask about it from time to time. So thank you very much. Future Trader 71 is doing a presentation about micros. Is that today? Is that going to be on Futures.io or somewhere else? Do we have anything? Oh, no, nobody on the Discord. IQ, what does IQ say today? What are those? Could trade futures income lose money with us, right? I only do crypto. I'm trading for 9 months now, and I lost a lot in the beginning on shit coins. Man. Well, I mean, Lucas has got a point that the micros coming out, man, that is a real opportunity. The trading micros is really exciting because not only can anybody day trade it, because it's literally going to be like $50 margin, right? To day trade this thing, but you can swing it with that, right? You could take a swing trade and try and take, a whole 4 to 8 points. Probably would have worked out okay yesterday. And man, the thing that keeps happening with me and the E-mini, let's pull this up. Let us pull this up. If we come over here, oh, I need to turn on the push notifications, but if we come back to, I think, the beginning of March, I'd say, and just show E-mini trades. Yes. Okay, so here's my P&L on E-mini trades lately. And you can see I have losses, and I've actually had some losses that are pretty bad. Days where I really faded it and screwed up. But you can see that when you get the winners, it easily makes up for it. Easily makes up for it. That's just in the ES. So you got to keep in mind that here on the MES, it would be like I would lose maximum $76 and then be up, $40, and minus quite a bit of commissions here. Well, how many? Show stats. Here we go. Number of trades, 60. No, I didn't take 62 trades in the E-mini, did I? Maybe I did. So if that is true, then I probably am like actually just break even, huh? That's interesting. I don't think that I take it. That might not be correct. It might not have put the right stats in or something. Because I don't think. Yeah, well, maybe. But I mean, this is a whole learning period. Like these things in March was when my strategy wasn't really very good. Here now, the later half, it's been pretty great. And that's almost, $100. So maybe we could say that I would have made $40. Anyways, Kind of interesting. I mean, it shows some promise, right? It doesn't prove anything yet, but I think it shows some promise. What is that futures journaling tool you were showing? Oh, so I use Jigsaw, right? And if you have a Jigsaw license, then you get Journalytics and you can see your stats through Journalytics. So love it, love it. Pattern trapper signals for futures. What's this? Oh, I always need to open it up in Brave. The next day's most likely trading scenario based on pattern, signal firings, and significant support and significant levels. I see. Yep. Now, if you don't have Jigsaw, you can still use their journaling, and it's something like $40 a month or something like that. And if you pay the monthly subscription fee, it also tells you news, which is quite nice. And it's actually better. We actually tried it and we found that it was better than the squawks. The squawk, you actually hear a person talking and that's still the best. But if you want something that will pop up the notifications with the numbers and everything, that one was the best that we tried. So they do a good job over there. They do appear to be stopping here in the end, so I'm still a little weary about trading this at 645 especially. I kind of feel like, maybe we just missed out. But if I see something here, maybe we could take it. So your new background looks great. Oh, so you like that, huh? Well, all I did, I mean, it's the same background. All I did was I moved the camera over to my right. So I don't know. I would like to, improve that a little bit more. I have a pretty old webcam. I want to go and get like a 4K webcam and going to, maybe get a key light so that my face is lit. Not that it really matters, but it would be nice. So, and I'm sure that the kids could use it because the kids love doing that sort of stuff. I would like to get a camera for the kids so that they can record their stuff because they like to watch like slime videos. I guess slime is the big thing right now. And they do a ton of that. Well, they sure are struggling to hold a bid at 123 even. But that could be nothing. I don't know. Let me make sure the Twitter's up. Zero Hedge Gold plunges towards key technical level after 1.5 billion notional dump. I gotta tell you, a short rant just because we can on gold is like it really irks me that so many conservatives out there think that we should go back to a gold standard because the evidence is very clear to me that a gold standard was very, very bad for the United States economy. Back end of the curve is steepening a little bit. Yeah. Well, they were steepening. I'm actually noticing here they're kind of reverting back a little bit. Which charts does he have here and here? This one is ZNZB, ZBUB. Yeah, they're all kind of going up a little bit. They are kind of giving us like a maybe we could short it here. No love for oil as Canadian dollar hits a 4-week low. The new currency agreement with the US will not allow China to buy euros to keep the yuan weak. Without the recent Chinese euro buying, it would be below 1.1. Oh, really? By the way, what is the currencies doing here? Okay. Let's see. I'm having a feeling that they might try and do a flip on us. So I'm just noticing that the 6J has been pointed down just a little bit, and so is the euro. Yep, I'm seeing the same thing. FY, TY, ZB fly charts. Good deal. I like the flies that Dennis is showing us here too. That's oh, he's doing it within Thinkorswim. That's how he's doing that. Cool. I really wish that NinjaTrader had better support for spreads. But oh well. By the way, this is quite a bit of buying here in ZF. I mean, that's the sort of a thing that maybe they go up for the high and then they stop or something like that. But that 05 half could just be straight up stop it. Especially if the E-mini decides that this is as low as they're going to go at 29.14. So I think that they might want to get back into that 29.20 area. It's felt bullish this week. Pretty big iceberg there. Got a decent number of viewers, so welcome new people, I suppose. It seems awfully quiet. I don't know. So far, well, we had a move up in the first 30 minutes. Now we're getting some iceberging here at the top of the hour. Kind of seems like this trade is maybe done. I don't know if it's going to reverse or not. And I'm a little weary about trading into this 7 to 7:30 time frame. That always sucks. A leadership coup against Theresa May will topple the pound, according to Nomura. Is that on the table? Ugh. Ugh. By the way, we should duplicate in a new tab here and get the British pound on here too. Futures 6B. Yeah, they are moving down today. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so CNN Politics posting the story about Bernie Sanders says the right to vote should be extended even for terrible people like the Boston Marathon bomber. I am starting to wonder, when Bernie Sanders ran last time, it was kind of a softball thing. Like he ran like controlled opposition. If I'm nice, maybe they will boost me next time around, pay my dues, sort of a thing. And he never really got into it with Clinton. And I think that he's kind of the opinion of like, we don't attack fellow Democrats or fellow liberals, sort of a thing. But it's not going to be like that in this primary, right? This is going to be a bloodbath. They're in it to win. And if you make those kinds of answers when it's a softball question from CNN, what's going to happen when you've got other campaigns that are intentionally trying to trip you up, right? I don't know if he can handle. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold his place as frontrunner. Going back to our predictions. Thinkorswim is great for analysis, however, not to be used as executing broker for future spreads. Yeah, I bet the commissions, if you want to take a spread trade in Thinkorswim, is probably awful. Anyways, I guess while we're at it, no, I'll save my rant for later. I have another rant, but that and the margins too. Oh, they don't give you the span margins? By the way, does the volume sound okay? Because I'm looking at the volume here, and it's not quite what I would like it to be. I'm kind of peaking at like between 10 and 5, and I would rather it be kind of closer to the 5. Yeah. It's probably that I don't remember what the settings I had it on before. I have to take a look at it again when I'm not streaming. Asia's largest refiner, Sinopec, is set to receive its first U.S. crude oil cargo this week since halting imports from the country in September. The resumption is a sign that the Chinese refiner sees fewer risks from importing U.S. oil as trade talks between the two world's largest economies have progressed. More signs the trade deal is coming. Okay, so you guys think that the volume sounds good. It's not just volume, it's like if I'm really far away, it kind of sounds like that. And if I'm really close, it's almost like way too much. You know what I mean? And I'm not as close to the microphone as I would like, but I'm not willing to like lean into it all the time. So I probably need to buy like a better mic stand that I can put like right here. Okay, so they did do what I thought they were going to do. So let's see now if it works out. I should probably put an auto strategy in on that. So at the same time that I did that, Uzi went short at 08. So were you kind of stocking the same thing, or did you see something different there, Uzi? Barry White voice when you get too close to the microphone. Yeah. Well, the way that I had it before when I was close to the microphone, I thought it sounded really, really good. But yeah. Lucas says, "Good call. I missed it." Oh, hey, look, they're already taking 31. Only took 800 contracts to clear that the first time. That's interesting. Seems a little bit too convenient to me, though. Well, they are putting more volume into it now. So we got I don't think it's over yet because there's always the possibility that they're just longs are just looking to load up more. But the stacking and pulling definitely favors the bears. Okay, so they're pulling at 31.5. Assault rifle wielding Mexican soldiers disarm U.S. troops on border. Are you what? Okay, so they ticked up. They held 1,000, and they sold all. They sold 1,600 contracts in our offer again. Okay. And Ace is going short the E-mini. So, I don't know. I can see a short in the E-mini here on this one, but I only see 2 points in it, so I'm not gonna mess with that. Plus, we're taking it here in the Treasuries. But if the E-mini comes down, then the Treasuries are likely to pop up. So we got to be cautious here. Two American soldiers were disarmed and questioned by Mexican troops wielding assault rifles this month while conducting a surveillance mission on U.S. territory near the southern border. At approximately 2 p.m. CTT, well, they're almost going to tick up there. 5 to 6 Mexican military personnel questioned 2 U.S. Army soldiers who were conducting border support operations in an unmarked Customs and Border Protection vehicle near the southwest border in the vicinity of Clint, Texas. An inquiry revealed that the Mexican military members believed that the U.S. Army soldiers were south of the border. Oh, okay. Misunderstanding, but still very interesting. I'll take 2 points every trade of my life. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm not confident enough in my order flow reading to feel like that I have a good chance on getting an 8 ticker like that. Seems like when I'm seeing one that's like, okay, there's good support here, and I can see that there's a target like 5 points above us and everything like that. Those ones have been working out for me, and the ones where it's like right now, where it's like, well, maybe it could go down to 29.12, haven't been. And there has been something going on here in the Treasuries that is down. So, given that they're disagreeing, it's either stick with this one in the ES, in ZN, taking a spot that we did see, or doing nothing. Plus, I'm already in an E-mini. I'm already in a trade. I don't want to be in 2. Managing 2 is always a disaster. So that 123 even keeps pulling, but not a lot is trading into it yet. Home sells? I don't know. No, I think that the only news that I have on my calendar is... Oh, no, wait. We did have the HPI. We just had the HPI. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. They didn't pull, so I didn't really realize it. HPI was 0.3% versus an expected spot 6% and a previous reading of spot 6%. So the home sales was not as good as expected. But the market at the moment doesn't appear to be reacting to it. Ugh, did you hear that when I turned my neck? My back popped. Did you scratch UZ? I hoped they trade lower after 5-year held for so long. Yeah. Well, there was a little bit of a sell, but they did not continue through, did they? Yep, I think that we're just going to have to take our lumps here. And the E-mini is coming down. Too late to take that trade now, but the E-mini is ticking down a little bit. It seems to be creating some of that buy pressure. Hmm. See that move up overshadowed the cumulative delta. The mice need foam? Look at that. They're having to force people into buying O5. There we go. It did hit us though. That wouldn't have been -3. So that is pretty good indication that maybe we shouldn't be shorting today. Where's the E-mini here? I don't know. I'm still a little uncertain because the E-mini is moving down, but what we're seeing in the E-mini kind of looks more like mean reversion to me. And it looks like that the treasuries moved up largely because the E-mini took a step down, or at least they happened at roughly the same time. And I am seeing a little bit of movement in the currencies pushing us there as well. For instance, on that move up, there was some buying in the 6J. There was quite a bit of movement in the British pound. So I don't think that the conditions are conducive to selling right now. Okay. So there's something there to 1/2. Izzy says I should have scratched when he said short yes. Yeah. I'm a little surprised that 1 point down in the ES had the impact that it did. Well, they're holding no 1/2 now. I think we could go up quite a bit more than this. Like, they could maybe test 04. I don't think that my 01 is going to get filled. Not going to get filled neither. And those offers keep pulling. And look at the way the bids are stacking behind it. I don't think I'm going to get filled even here. Look at that. This is kind of like, the reversal didn't work and now it's like giddy up all of a sudden. Ooh, it's actually quite a bit of a move up too. I'm actually, okay. Look at the 5-year. Yeah, I think that ZB is probably going to get sucked back up to 16. What did John say again if we went higher? If that move to the downside doesn't develop, I would be looking for price to retest that 19 level, followed by 24. Let's just mark them. Yes, so ZF is coming to a key level here. They don't seem to want to take 07. They're only putting teeny tiny little bits on the bid there. Wonder. Same with ZB. It's not holding 14. So 06 and 3/4 in CF is holding a little bit more stronger of an offer now. Iceberging at 20 in ZN now. They did go bid, but only a teeny tiny little amount. It doesn't help that the E-mini has basically reverted back to where it was. And that's interesting that the E-mini has reverted back to where it was and the treasuries haven't really reacted very much at all. Rabbit making noises. See, 06 3/4 holding actually quite a bit on the offer now. Could flip though. I don't know. If I was a seller by now, I would be feeling a little frustrated because you got it kind of a tick down and you're not getting any follow through at all. Okay, well, somebody just stacked at 02 there. ES is still pushing up a little bit. Hmm, 29, 18. Okay. That's not a good sign. It's okay. Okay. So we are seeing it. So the thing that I'd be worried about is if we start seeing it trade down 01 half 01, with, not so many contracts on there, because there's a lot of liquidity behind us. And if that all turns out to be fake, then, you know, that really invalidates the trade. It's super interesting that we are higher than we were when um, when Ace went short the E-mini, pushed Treasuries up to where they are now, but the Treasuries haven't reacted to it. Okay, so the Treasuries just bought up there and they took out a 4K offer, and Z ZF is looking strong too. Let's see if they take O2 half. They're able to go for it. Well, it's pulling. Okay, there's the 5-year, went for it, didn't hold it. I'm tempted to sell the ES again, but I don't want to take 2 trades. Randy UB also soaring. Oh, I don't have that one set up correctly. There we go. Yeah. Oh, you're totally right. Yeah, I wish that, I don't think the ace is still here. He's probably doing his waffles already. Somebody needs to short the E-mini for me. Since I'm already in a trade, I want to manage 2. But it seems to me that you could potentially sell the E-mini right here. Maybe 29.15.50. Let's see if it gets there. If we were sitting there, would we get filled? It seems like there's not a whole lot of contracts there. See, I don't think I have my microphone set up very well, because just things like me putting stuff on the desk is bumping up the volume. So I apologize for that. Need to address the expander so that anything that's below a certain level, you just don't hear it. So 025 is being a little stubborn. Okay. The 5-year ticked up and is holding it and absorbed quite a bit of volume too. The 30-year is lagging. So we're definitely getting more steepening here. Can we see it on the short end of the range? Okay. So the 5-year is pushing it. Um, the 10-year running into a lot of volume, but they did finally take it. I would rather see those offers just pull, but when they really start pushing through multiple levels like that, you can get good trends off of that. So let's see. Dennis says Bob's spread is lagging. Well, ZB did come up there. Back end of the curve is steepening. Okay, well, got a tick behind us. That's good. Okay, they take 30. Pretty nonchalant about it. And ZB ticked up. Bonds still not breaking highs, yeah. This is ZB is lagging. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing if you're long though, because it really appears to me like we're getting steepening. I don't know why, but they are definitely steepening. And steepening tends to be bearish equities. Or rather, steepening is often a result of people being bearish equities. So that kind of is in support of the Treasuries moving up overall. And you could see ZB, push to 19, I think. Okay, so they did, okay, so some stops at 17. But there is some resistance at 16, but they're able to kind of push through it. There's probably going to be a decent amount of volume trade at 16 here before we move on. Well, 800 is a decent amount. I don't know. Yeah. And there's 16, IQ says. And now there's a really big bid at 07.5. That was 4K, over 4K. Yeah, over 4K at 07.75. Unusual. That is unusual. Some iceberging at 08. So a big bid like that is normally bullish, but because it's been a good run and we're having an iceberg there, that could make it a potential profit target area. Like you put that big bid there because you're afraid that you're not going to be able to get out at 08. And so it's just a trick. It's possible. That's a possibility that we got to keep an eye on. I think that also 04 is ZN. Was yesterday's high, right? Okay. So now they are starting to take 04 and trading into 04 half. It looks like that the buyers are still winning out here. Hmm. I can't believe that when I did my original sell that it was at 31.5. Well, it was a reasonable place to sell, but it's really come up quite a bit since then. Well, it's been about 45 minutes. When did I take that one? Opened it at 6:57, so it's been about 30 minutes. So we have moved 8 ticks in 30 minutes. Okay. So there was a decent iceberg at 04 and they overtook it. The ZN definitely looking more bullish than ZB. Okay, here comes the equity indexes. What are they going to do? The first impulse is a sell. Okay, so holding a good bid at 04 now. And there's the E-mini selling down. So it's just like I was saying, 29, 15, 25. I don't know if that would have gotten filled. I didn't pay attention. Well, we can always go back and watch. Lucas, I free solo carry mountains, practice base jumping, and leave trades at market openings. Okay, so you see now that they've ticked up there to 05 that the 04 has 6K behind it? Yeah. Myers, everyone is always guessing the direction the market can go 3 ways, 2 of which are bad. Am I missing a comment over here in the YouTube I can't see? Oh, yes, it's not. For some reason, I can't see him. He must not be. It must not consider him. Because he hasn't. Maybe it's a new account or whatever. But I see a posse now. So what did he say? Normally, the volatility comes in at the U.S. stock open. So why bother to trade before? Many people find that being in a trade right at the open is like jumping into a whirlpool. Yes. So to expand on what Ace is saying, posse, the trade that Ace taught me that has worked really, really well for me is that there's tends to be an overnight move of some sort in the E-mini. And if you're there before the open and you see a possibility of a short, it can be a really good trade because shorts tend to go faster. They tend to sell faster in the E-mini than they do when they buy. But there's a lot less volatility before the open. So it's a little bit easier for us to kind of get a read on what it's doing and everything. So I'll take a trade at about 7 o'clock maybe. If I see one, I didn't really see one today, and I think based on my strategy that was the right thing. And now we've got the battle going on, right? So the first impulse was a sell. It looks like that the sellers pushed as far as they could for the time being. So now it's going to go back and forth a little bit, and we'll see how much the buyers can do. Right now, it's not looking too good for the buyers. And it's kind of like they take turns, and you can see which side is stronger when they take their turn, right? And then once a daily trend is decided, then we could potentially take another trade in the E-mini. That's the way that I play it. And yes, Ace is saying yes, there are 3 ways that it can go: up, down, or sideways. And sideways is very, very bad for us, because then what ends up happening is you take a bunch of trades and scratch them all, and you get nowhere, and you just pay your broker money for the commissions on all the trades, break-even trades that you took. I have to say, though, that I don't take a trade at this time in the S, and I don't want to be in 2 trades at the same time, but I wish I was short the E-mini, because these treasuries seem to be saying something. These treasuries seem to be saying something, and I can see the setup in the E-mini, and all it's going to take is for them to just give it a little nudge over the edge, and we could get some really good downside. The treasuries have been pumping up. Like when we saw the first buy in ES that took us from 31 half to 20 there, that one appeared to be the E-mini moving down. But then since then, the treasuries have moved up significantly, and the E-mini hasn't really been moving anything. So I think that if the E-mini falls apart, there could be a lot more in this. I always trade the movement, not sideways. There you go. Yep. If market does not move, why bother? Yeah. Well, there needs to be balance in everything, right? If it moves too much, that can be really dangerous for us. You must be taking Ace's courses. Well, he comes in here every day and he tells us when he takes his trade. People come in and say trades all the time. And I've always been a proponent of, don't necessarily be here to give people trades, but rather like your observations and strategies. I think that's more helpful to people. But he does give us a trade, and he's kind of been giving us an idea of how to do it. And I based part of my strategy on the stuff that he's been sharing with us. And when I made those changes to taking trades around specific time periods in the ES, when I knew that the volatility was more favorable to me, I started doing a lot better. So that was what we were saying, like, halfway through March, when we really started following that, we started doing a lot better. So yeah, maybe he should sell a course. The only course I teach is a crash course at the School of Hard Knocks. Our colors are black and blue. Okay, so a decent amount of volume is traded back and forth at 04.5, and the E-mini is back up towards the highs. There's still a lot of bid in the 10-year, but a strong offer at 05, which is kind of interesting. But I think that some of that was just left there because, they traded into it and didn't take it. Yeah, see, a lot of that just pulls when it comes back up to it. I'm a simple man, so my trading is simple too. And are you trading the ES, or do you trade treasuries or something else? Thanks. I appreciate it, dude. It's been useful, and at a critical time, because when these micros come out, I feel like that have something that'll be worth trying for life when we get there. So I'm excited. I've been thinking the past few days, actually, that maybe I really should have just be going live with my treasuries, because the trouble that I had last April is not materializing. Okay, so I don't like that. I don't like what just happened there in the 5-year. And the E-mini, that buy was much stronger than the sell. Well, the level 2 seems to be indicating to me that we could be in a pullback, but that there's still a possibility of higher in the treasuries. The question is just how long do you want to sit through it and then be disappointed, you know? But 20,000 contracts traded at 04.5. That's a lot to not hold the price, but it's not a disaster. It's just like I said, this probably you're gonna at least get a pullback. Okay, so there's the E-mini coming into 29.17, starting to trade a little bit more volume on it. What's Zolval saying? Fed's dovish shift and focus on inflation expectations is partly motivated by the desire to avoid Japanesization / euro sclerosis. We think the market now underprices the risk of Fed cuts despite our benign US and global outlook. So, note from some analyst that he's sharing with us. Okay, so there's a little bit of liquidity above us in the E-mini that they might try and take out 29.18. It's a little thicker through here, and they're pushing up through these ones a little bit more easily. My chest is all locked up again today. It looks to me like people are taking fills up here in this 04 to 04.5 area. So both sides are absorbing. Okay, significant uptick in the 5-year. They take 08.5, 07, sorry, 08.75 pulls. You mean, oh man, and they take that one, and immediately there's a big stack on that one too. I think they're saying that we should short the E-mini here, man. That's interesting. Okay, so that was a really strong uptick, but they didn't hold it. Step by step, but I think that we got a really good sign, and then for the really good sign to not follow through is not, kind of turns it into a really bad sign. Especially if they just don't do anything, and here at 04.5, they're kind of saying maybe they could move up a bit more. Children How many times do I have to tell you? The internet hears everything that you say. Wake up early in the morning, first thing you do. Yell at the internet, what the fudge? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so I'm just reading this on Twitter. Herman Cain tells the Wall Street Journal that once he learned the salary for the Fed board post and that he'd have to forego his paid speaking gigs, he realized his income would be insufficient and decided to withdraw. My biggest passion is making money. Oh man, that hurts so bad. Oh. I didn't think necessarily that he was going to be like an amazing pick for the Fed, but like I thought, okay, well, he was on the Kansas City Fed. I suppose it's okay. But then you nominate somebody for that post, and then they say, "Oh, I don't want it because I wouldn't make enough money," and that's why you rejected it. That that is a real that's real ugly politically for the administration. That's embarrassing. Wow, that's really embarrassing. I kind of, I remember Herman Cain from all of the campaigns, but I don't really remember how I felt about him. I think because at the time just thought Mitt Romney was going to win. So that's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to have supported Mitt Romney in the past. Sorry if there's anybody out there that's a Mitt Romney fan, but I'm very disappointed in some of the things he's done lately. Bernanke is minting it now. Well, it's kind of a problem that Donald Trump doesn't feel like he has people that he can put in the Federal Reserve that he trusts will do a good job. And that I think there's a problem in the economic circles where we've settled too much on like one economic philosophy. And of course, there's reasons why, because I think that there's really sound monetary policy behind it. But I look at what the Federal Reserve has done in the past year, well, ever since they got rid of, what was her name? I can't even remember. We forget so fast. Yellen. Ever since Yellen moved, there's been a lot of contention over the decisions that are being made at the Federal Reserve, and I think that there needs to be. I feel like they've become complacent, So I would like to see new blood come in and people that would shake things up. I don't know if these guys are really the ones to do it, but yeah, the administration doesn't appear to be having a whole lot of success with that venture. Do they? Okay, Wrong says NG is falling hard. Oh, gas. Yes. So I am just watching here on this move up in Treasuries. We have had a corresponding move up in all of the currencies, really. Japanese yen, euro, a little bit in the British pound. Oil is moving higher. So that's interesting that NG is falling hard because oil is moving up. So they are moving opposites of each other. Ooh, that would be a good spread to be trading right now. What are they saying here in the spreads? I mean, there's a lot of volume trading at 04.5, but they're not holding it. When they tick up, they seem to get aggressive, but then they're not able to hold it. The 5-year seems to be indicating that we can move up. You can see the liquidity building up below us. They're trying to catch it and not getting filled. The E-mini may have reversed there. Like you get a good short spot in the E-mini now. Ugh, and 04 half does go bid. Okay, so we did trade 19, so the next target is 24. Where does he get 24 from? 24, I see. 24 was the close last week. So I think that that's a reasonable target. They're putting too much on the bid and the offer as they tick. See when they tick up how much stronger the bid is? And it's always like immediate. Oh, children, so loud. Birds, so loud. See, this is where it's like I need to fix the I need to fix the volume so that background noise isn't as loud for you guys. Really, I just need a new door. Contribute to the Patreon, and when we've saved up enough, we'll use that money to buy a new door for the office. Well, Sanders and Harris say Boston Marathon bomber should be able to vote from prison. I think that Harris said that's a discussion that we should have. So I don't know if that one is necessarily a disaster for her. For Bernie, ooh, what are you doing, Bernie? Don't you want to be president? Why are you saying dumb things? I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't want him to be president, but man, you can't say things like oh, we should be, you know, we should give this terrorist voting rights, even though he's in prison. That's I don't see how you win an election saying stuff like that, guys. That was just a really big blunder. The Democrats need to have a powwow and sit and talk about what do you have to do to, you know, here are dumb things that you don't say. You know, here are the opinions that we have that are unpopular that we need to keep to ourselves if we want to be president. See, I'm Seth. I can say whatever I want, right? We're doing pretty good today. We got 26 people listening. I appreciate it. I think it's maybe when I'm doing well, we tend to get more people. Birds are funny and it's nice to hear them. I'm glad. You just remember when you hear that sound, those are happy birds. They're saying good morning. But anyways, we got a lot of people watching, and maybe it's because I'm doing well. It seems like people tend to stick around and they're like, oh, he got a good one. Let's see how he handles it. ES is still up. Yeah, ES looks like it's going to fall, but it hasn't done it yet. And if it does fall, that could push us up even more. It's really interesting that the Treasuries just continue to plow through, regardless of what everything else is doing. So it is definitely, they're definitely being driven by internal demand for whatever reason. It could be because we're like it coming towards the end of the month, but I don't know. Anyways, as I was saying, I can say whatever I want because, like, even though I appreciate having 26 people watching, if there's 12 people watching like usual, or even if there's no people watching, doesn't matter because I like to go back and watch the video, and that's the primary reason for this. So I can say whatever I want. But Democrats, everybody's listening to you. You can't say stupid shit like that if you want to be president. You just can't. And as much as I'm a Republican And I would love to see the Democrats lose and everything. I think it's a bad thing for the country when one party is a complete joke. There has to be balance because I know that Republicans do dumb things when they get in, like the full majority. Okay, when it was George Bush and they had majorities and the Democrats were just kind of rolling over, that was bad for the country, and I don't want that to happen again. And right now, it looks like that is the collision course that we're on because Democrats keep doing dumb things. So if you're a Democrat or Democrat, you know, help them step it up, please. Because you can't be running around saying, this terrorist, we should let this terrorist vote, even though he's in prison right now. That, if the argument is that felons should be able to vote, or maybe that people in prison should be able to vote, then okay. But you don't take the bait question. You don't take the bait question when they say, what about this terrorist? Should this terrorist be able to vote? That's a bait question. Lucas got out. Ace says, sorry about that trade. So E-mini's still moving up. Well, it's not moving up. It's potentially doing a double top. We'll see. If you get a rush of sell volume here, then you could get a strong double top. But Treasury's still acting like, hey, we could keep going. Me or my wife talking to the birds now. See, what happens is the kids come down and the birds start squawking, so they take the blankets off of them, and then they say hi to everybody, and then my wife gives them food and they shut up. Okay, well, somebody didn't like what I said. It's okay. Like I said, I can say what I want. Man, it keeps going. This is really hard for me because I don't know where to take it off at. Well, the target was 24 in ZB. That's the one that I'm watching for. But you see that they just traded through a 6K iceberg and they're bidding it up 4,500 like it's go time. Well, there's the 5-year kind of trading up. Now it's 6K bid. Like if I wasn't long, I would be tempted to buy to just hit a market buy into 06 half. I'm surprised that you're not getting more in there yet. Okay, well, there was a couple. This is just okay. So it chilled out a little bit there. Well, if I took it off at 06, that would be one of the better trades that I've made this year. So probably we should hold it and let it come back on us 50% so that we don't do so well. Because obviously we don't want to be successful. That would be scary. Okay, so it goes offer. But the buyers were there. Yeah. Trading it back and forth. E-mini doesn't look like it's stopping. So this is an interesting situation. It's a good thing that I didn't try taking a short in the E-mini. But because I was definitely wrong about that, wasn't I? Well, I think I should take off one. Oh no. Maybe I should take off both. Okay. Okay. You know what? I wish I didn't have that -3 from earlier, but to give us ourselves a 16 tick day. But it it redeems us from that disaster that we had last Friday. Redeems us from that disaster we had last Friday. Okay, so now that we're at this, I don't think I'm going to take another trade, but I have a suspicion that they're going to keep moving up. That was enough. That was enough of a pullback that I think that it was right for me to take profit. See that 05 half is going offered a little bit too easily. So that says to me that they're arguing now. They're saying 06 is too high. 05 is okay. I'm willing to buy and sell at 05. Maybe even, well, 05 half, maybe even 050, because that one's pulling too, right? So I think that was right. Anyways, now it's 8 o'clock. Maybe we can have the other discussion that I wanted to have today. So get ready for this one, because this is the one where I'm like, I share all of my wild far right ideas and scare everybody off. So I know that we talked about it yesterday, but it was kind of just in passing and we didn't really say a whole lot about it. But Elizabeth Warren wants to implement a student loan forgiveness program. And it sounded like that they were willing to forgive up to $100,000 in debt. And when we heard that, we said, well, that just sounds like you're just giving people money. Like, that's pandering. And I kind of wonder, because at first I thought, seems to me like Elizabeth Warren is just a far left professor with no real world experience, and that's why she believes the things that she does. And she's just, she's in the ideology, and she doesn't have the practical real world experience to understand why those things won't work. Well, this kind of makes me wonder, like maybe she does know better, but she's just pandering. Like maybe all of this stuff she's not really serious about doing, because I just don't see how you think that that's a good idea. And then I started hearing other people talking about it and really thinking into it, and like, oh my gosh, this is such a bad idea. Because like, what about all of those people that were smart with their money, that didn't take out a loan that they had no chance of being able to pay, What happened to all the responsible people? What about all of the parents, like my parents, that worked hard and saved for years and years so that their kids could have a chance to go to college, only to, have the prices increased on them exponentially because of the student loans government, making the credit too easy, right? It's like you're punishing responsible behavior and rewarding the people that were foolish. Man, I think you see these things like where people are getting like art degrees that have no real world applications, and they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on these degrees, and then working at Starbucks, right? And we're saying that these people, they should just be given the money. Yeah, we let you live on the government's dime basically for 4 years or whatever, and comfortably, quite comfortably, and then we give you the forgiveness, like the what is the word that they use? Moral hazard, I think, right? That is moral hazard to the extreme. Like this is our Rick Santelli moment right here, guys. Because remember the Rick Santelli moment, he was talking about the home loan forgiveness thing, and he was saying, hey, why are you giving people that were foolish with their loans? What about the rest? What about everybody else? What about the people that were smart with their money and did the right thing? Huh? This is the same thing. You know what I could do with $100,000? They're willing to forgive $100,000 in loan. You have any idea what I could do with that money? Man, if I had $100,000 to put into an account, I could swing trade the E-mini, you could make so much fucking money with that much. Like you could totally make it a career at that point if you had that much money in the bank. Obviously, it wouldn't be good enough for the rest of your life, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's pandering. I don't think that she can't be serious. Pandering to the extreme. And this kind of pandering is dangerous, I think. Because you're giving people false hopes. You're giving people, you're telling people that they can live on the government dime, essentially. And you're teaching them bad things. It's just really bad for society. And then all of a sudden they start to expect it. And that's probably how we got to the place that we are today already. And I'm telling you guys, free markets work. The student loan thing is a prime example, right? The government can only come in and step in and take something over by destroying the free market first. They have to come in, distort the free market, make it so that it doesn't work anymore, and then the government can come in and say, oh, we're the solution. So that's what they did with education. When my parents were in school, they worked. They worked and they paid for college. They worked hard. My dad had like 3 jobs at once. One of his jobs was like, he worked for a contractor, and one of his jobs was to go to the job sites at night and kick out the hobos. It's a rough job, but those were the things that he had to do to make his way through college. And then what did the government do? Well, we want to be in charge of college. So what we're going to do is we're going to give everybody all of these loans and make it so that the cost of college goes up. And then when it's too expensive for anybody to afford, then we will be able to justify taking education over. That's what's happening. I feel like that's what's happening. I know when I say that, that sounds like crazy to me because like I can't prove that that's happening. I know I can't prove that that's what's happening. But when you see the stuff that's happening, it's kind of hard to not see any other way at that point. Anyways. Yeah, so what we were saying, if I had $100,000 in my account, I could trade 30 contracts at 2 points a trade. That is $30,000 a day. And then you go and get new shoes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. $3,000 per trade. Not bad. Still $60,000 per month. Yeah. So when I first started trading, or at least being interested in markets, I worked at Goldman Sachs, and so like to send an order to a SIM system was like really bad. Like they're super strict about communication, and I was like, I better not do that. So I had a spreadsheet. I wish I could have took the spreadsheet with me because I was very proud of that spreadsheet, and I kept that for a good 3 years. But I had a spreadsheet, and I would just put the trades in the spreadsheet. And I told myself, okay, I have $100,000 and I'm not willing to lose more than 1% on a trade. So I think that I would trade something like 4 contracts in the E-mini so that if I made 4 points, it was $1,000. And if I lost 2 points, it was $1,000. And then if I made 4, it was $2,000. And usually it went much further than that because I was swinging it. And, and I did that for everything. I would size it based off of what was a 1% loss and how much do I think it will move. And I also traded silver at the time because silver was really, really moving up towards $50. And that was like the all-time high in silver. I bought it on the way up, and you would make $1,000 a day on one contract. And I was able to have like 20 of them or something like that. So it was like $20,000 on the way up, $20,000 on the way down. Holy crap, that was a great trade. And I don't think that those results were very accurate because, I don't know, like maybe you don't get filled. Maybe you're doing something that you don't realize in real life you wouldn't be able to actually do, or you're being more generous with the stops and things than than real life would be. So I don't consider these results accurate, but I was winning 55% of the time, and I like got that account from $100,000 to $1 million. So yeah, $100,000 in a trading account, that would be a lot. Anyways, well, we didn't lose too many people through that whole rant, so I appreciate it. I take it that means that you guys enjoy listening to that. First do well with one contract, and then you can swing 30 contracts. I totally agree with that, Lewis. I think that's a name that I haven't seen before, so welcome to our little venture here. So should I call it a venture? I don't know. I don't like to call it a room. I don't feel like it's a room, because to me a room is like a place where you spend an exorbitant amount of money that you probably shouldn't ever be paying to anybody to get a signal that probably doesn't work. We're not a room, but community, that's what it is. Welcome to our community. That's the right word. Yeah, I think that you go in and you have it something like, okay, it requires, well, so like let's do it in ZN here. It requires $500 to trade ZN, right? For every $500 that you make, you could potentially put on another contract. But I think that you want to make it so that if you lose, you're not going to lose that new contract that you got, right? So like if I was doing that, I don't think that I would be putting on a second contract until I had made $1,000, because then I know that my drawdown can be about 16 ticks, right? Like on a longer term basis, it can be about 16 ticks as much as it'll go against me before I go, okay, we need to take a step back, right? So I want to make it so that if I put another contract on, I can still lose the 16 ticks and still be able to trade the account, right? So I would only do it when I made $1,000, and then I would just increase it from there. So it wouldn't be trading, wouldn't double again to 4 until I had made $2,000, right? Because there's always the one is like, don't risk more than 1% of your account on one trade, but that probably doesn't apply to a lot of retail guys, because if you're not willing to lose more than 1%, well, if it's really bad, I could lose 4 ticks. That's $62, right? So for that to be 1% of the trade, I'd have to have an account that's at least $6,000. And if I went below that, then I would have to size down at that point, right? So then you would really need more like a $10,000 account. And then the second thing is your drawdown, so like 16 ticks, give or take, which is about $500. So to trade one contract, you would need at least $7,000. But most people, when they're starting out, they're not putting $7,000 into an account, unfortunately. But that's definitely the way that you gotta. I mean, that's the way that I'm going to build it up in the ES, is like, because I'll have more than enough to hold to those parameters, But the amount that you have to make to put on more contracts has to be more and more and more, because it's going to be very tempting in the micro E-mini. I have a theory about the micro E-mini. You listening? This is there could be edge in this. There could be edge in this, but it's kind of a little bit of a very speculative, wild sort of a theory, sort of a thing. All right, not conspiracy theory level sort of a thing, but well, you'll see. Okay. When you make a new product go live, the last thing that you want to have happen is for that instrument to have a really, really bad sell day and screw over all of the retail traders that are coming in to trade it that day. You get what I'm saying? The CME the best situation for the CME is the day that the micro E-mini futures come out is one of the best bull days ever. Everybody buys on the MES, makes tons of money. Everybody's happy. right? You keep that going for a few weeks, and then after it's been going for a few weeks and it's kind of established, then you start screwing people over. Right? So if you trade the MES, what's going to happen is you might do, or what I suspect might happen to us, is we might do really well at the beginning and be tempted to really size up. And where I think that we need to be really careful about the sizing up. And I think that it's probably going to be better for us to size up at times of the year at which we think that the indexes are more likely to move, because I don't want it to be like, May is really, really good and we size up, and then the summer comes along and we lose it all. That's the game they're going to play with us, I think. So maybe there's some edge in that. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting because you're going to see, will the micro futures be cash settled? I believe so. They're going to be exactly like the E-mini futures. So that I'd guess that, because there's a lot of question about, there's not going to be a whole lot of liquidity in them and everything, and I'm like, I'm going to bet you that it is going to follow the E-mini tick for tick. The volume up between the two of them, like whether there's more buying or more selling, and whether people are using market orders or limit orders and things like that, are just going to be very different between the two instruments. But the high frequency traders are going to have every incentive that if the MES ticks down and the ES doesn't, to buy the MES and sell the ES and pocket the difference. Otherwise, broker/exchange make quite a bit on canceling delivery. I see what you're saying. Trading 30 micros should be easier. Well, if you're trading 30 micros, why wouldn't you just trade 3 E-mini contracts at that point, right? I don't see a reason to trade more than 10 contracts in the micro unless you're doing high frequency trading, spreading sort of a thing. Could be wrong, but I'm guessing that's probably what it's going to be like. I think we're all going to go out and put our orders on the DOM to show what we got, and it's just going to be people between 1 and 10 contracts. And there'll be a few big boys that trade it for other reasons. But if you can trade one E-mini contract, you would just trade one E-mini contract because the commissions are going to be better for you. So that's going to be the one problem with it. Can an index future ever not be cash settled? I think you're right. Well, because you can't exactly go out and buy 30 shares of the S&P 500, can you? I think commissions will be bad in micros, so this is why it's better to do minis. Yeah, so on the video that I have about this on YouTube, I think I do mention that a little bit. And I was speculating that it's probably going to be around $1. Just judging on what the difference between it is with the Forex, with the currency futures. But somebody commented on it yesterday saying that they were hearing rumors that it was going to be about 70 cents. So, but yeah, it's probably going to be about $1 per trade. That's when I was going back and I was like, I've really taken 60 trades in the E-mini? I don't think that's right, because I only do like 1 a day. It should only be like less than 30. But then when you add all the commissions on that up, it's the amount that we've made if we were trading in the MES isn't all that great. But it's still profitable, which is great. Like, even if I'm break even, I'm happy. Even if I'm break even, I'm happy. I don't know. So I like having the camera over here, but I would rather talk up this way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you guys think? I like to look at you. You probably aren't even looking. You guys probably are just listening. You don't even have the screen up. Wife will love to hear that one is risking $500 worth versus $5,000. Totally. Well, think about how many people out there have done Forex, you know? And Forex is a shitty game, you know? You usually don't last long in Forex. I think that a lot more people will be able to make careers out of trading because of these micro futures. I'm excited. You know, I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it. Here we go. We're over here. We're over here. There we go. Hi. I'm going to move it a little bit over to the center. I just need to get a better camera. Or maybe move some things. I don't know. Maybe get a second screen so that I can look at it. I could have it up here and I could look at it up here. Then it'll look like I'm kind of looking at you. And I can put the chat up there instead of having to look over here to be able to read what you guys are saying. Maybe something with a little bit wider of a view or something. I don't know. Well, that's still too high. There we go. ES support at 20. I'm still quite surprised that the E-mini moved up. We definitely made the right choice there, getting out at 06. But there could be more in it. There could be more in it. No, okay, so I guess Posse trades the ES because he says that he's telling us that there's some support at 20, which I do see. Not only in the price action, but you can kind of see the market orders coming up and trying to hold it. There is still a really big bid in the 5-year. So, do you see that? I closed the pen. Why do I always close the pen? I need to remember to open it up when I get started. Do you guys see this thing right here? Following us up in the ZF? So normally when I see that, in the past, it's been like a little bit of a spread trade. Like there was a time, the first time that we saw it, like it really moved markets and then markets kind of adjusted to it. And then we didn't see it as much. And now we're seeing it again. But it's a little bit different this time because before you would see very clearly, you would see like one over here in ZF. And then in, if they were buying it, if the spread was ZF ZN, that you would see a really big sell, following up on the ZN. Well, there is maybe tiny bit in ZB, but it's not significant. So I'm not seeing it. Perhaps it could be in ZT. Where's my ZT? I don't see anything unusual in ZT. By the way, is my DOM correct in ZT now? With the new definitions, does that fix it? I don't know what it's supposed to be. I guess that probably is right because it's 3 digits. They're doing them by 1368. Wait, why is it 1368? That's weird. That's weird. Well, anyways. Let's start posting the Patreon notes here. Just get all of the pictures in. Takes a while to attach all of the pictures onto every one of those posts. I tell you what, so if you guys haven't checked out the Patreon, you should check out the Patreon. So you can see the posts a week later, even if you're not contributing. So even if you have no intention of contributing, it's worth going and checking out. But I hope you guys appreciate it, because it's a lot of work to attach these pictures every day. I kid. It's pretty minimal work compared to, what you could be doing, but it's a real annoyance. I wish that I could have it like just post the charts every day automatically for me, but their API doesn't really provide a way to attach pictures. Otherwise, I would have it just post it for me every day. Maybe I should check some of the other ones like Subscribestar and see if they have a better API. Because like one of the thoughts that I've had was, because I hear Subscribestar is getting popular because people are afraid of Patreon just cutting them off, and so maybe you could get more people, a couple more subscribers if you went over to Subscribestar, but then I would have to go through this process twice, and that would really suck. And I'm always like not thinking about doing it until like the last second sometimes, and so then I'm worried about being, getting out the door and being late, and I don't write as good of notes. Nope, I think I better just stick to one. There we go. UBs are not willing to participate. That's interesting. So one other thing that I want to say about, let's do our little review here. Okay. So here you can see it took 2 trades. One was at 31.5. Okay, so it was right there. So maybe a little bit of FOMO involved in it. But it was a place where it appeared to be turning around. It didn't like give like a clear like reversal signal there. It kind of went up and then it started pumping. So that's when we bought it. It was a little bit of an extreme trade to be trading it up there, but it was just giving me the signal like they're not letting up this April yet. So there's still opportunity. And it was so strong that I took it on 2 contracts. I'm not sure if taking it on 2 contracts was the right choice, but it worked out. But the thing that I'm really proud of is that, so I took it at 02, essentially. So I took it like right here. I could have taken it off here at 04.5, but I held it through to 06, and I caught pretty much the top. So to get all of that on with one trade to minimize the commissions and everything, because then you get this sort of a thing where it's like, okay, you hear, it is going to go. You buy 05.5, and then maybe you don't actually get 06, and you take it off over here. But because I was able to get it in, I'm able to see the spot. Like everything works well. So that was a really like a perfect example of what we would prefer to do, is only do it on one trade and know that there's a continuation and save ourselves the commissions. Now, it's not always like that. I mean, like if this came back to here, then it'd be a different story, right? Then we would have been, even if we held it, we would be like, I could have sold that and bought it again. And anyways, so that's good. I mean that, and it's also good because we had some bad trading on Friday. Like there's no other way to put that one, right? We had some bad trading on Friday. That was probably my worst trading I've ever had. Not ever had, but this year probably my worst. So, yes, I'm happy. Oh, look, maybe they're going to actually tick up higher. Let's see. I still think that ZB has a good chance of hitting 24. So let's keep an eye on it. Okay. I'm going to type here. So if you guys got any parting comments, let's get them in now. We'll probably shut it down here in 5 minutes, after the kids leave. See, seeing that there's still 6,600 stacking at 05 half after ticking up, and the big bid in the 5 years still kind of there, and the E-mini not making a whole lot of progress on the bull side, although it's hard to say. Our read on the E-mini, my read on the E-mini hasn't been too good today, has it? But, well, I did say, hey, maybe they could go up to the 2920 area. But I felt like they should go down because treasuries are going up, and they didn't do that. This is significant resistance here. Like they peaked off right at where we were on Friday, and I'm not sure if they have a reason to go above that today or not. But they're not in correlation. But treasuries are still giving some indications that they want to go higher. I'm not so sure if it's like a great trade. I guess you still got like an hour before the London close. But we'll see. PBOC denies rumors of targeted reserve cut for rural banks. Is that the name of the Canadian one? Oh, I forgot. There was some news 30 minutes ago. Richmond Manufacturing Index 3 versus 10. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Posse Marie says, I'm done, plus 6 R? R equals 1.25 points. Okay. You're actually talking. I think it's better to do it in ticks, right? I much prefer ticks. Heidi says China. I don't know. I suspect that some of this move up has something to do with currencies, but I'm not really sure. Yeah. But ES is touching a high, so I don't know if there's going to be another push, and then it's just going to be gangbusters new highs sort of nonsense, or if they're going to fade away from it. Kind of surprising to me how well it's done today. Oh, PBOC is the Chinese central bank. I gotcha. Okay. Thank you. I've never heard that acronym before. That's interesting. But that would be weird to. Can you believe you give a different rate to different banks for your central bank? That could get really complicated. Have like a rural rate and a big bank rate and stuff. I don't know. What would that do? That could have really strange effects on your economy. Has something like that ever been done before? Is there like any kind of data to say what that would be like? I don't know. It's interesting. Oh, so I do see somebody commenting on DLive this morning saying we are coming in waves. Took 1,000 Ethereum at 89. HODL gang. HODL is a scam, folks. HODL is a scam that the whales tell you to prevent you from selling when it's overbought. If it's overbought, don't you sell it. And when it's underbought, you buy it. You don't stay in something that's, gonna move down 80%. That's just dumb. Yeah, their banking system is definitely different. It's gonna be interesting to see how China and everything shakes out. I was reading yesterday this whole thing with Iran and the oil is apparently a much bigger deal than I thought. Because there's this question of, does China and Russia go along with it? If China and Russia doesn't go along with it, then they get sanctioned too, which would be really, really bad. Now, it's possible that they could all get together and say, hey, we're not going to do it. Go screw yourselves, America. And then it would be really bad because the America would have to sanction all of them and stop, that could lead to a worldwide depression. So probably they're not going to do it. But a lot of people feel like that their tensions with Iran are really high and that they're egging for a war. I'm not so sure that that's the case, but it's interesting that that's what's being said online. Philippines rocking through another 6+ earthquake. Well, they are late. Well, there's the garage. So I don't like to interrupt them when they're getting ready because it just makes it take longer, and then I get blamed for them being late. All right, guys. Well, I obviously had way too much fun today. I'm really happy with the trade, and I enjoyed the things that we talked about. And we had a couple of new faces, so thank you to the new guys. And it looks like they did well today too. So it's great. As always, check out the Patreon, like and subscribe. Like the video, that really helps out. No, we get so much view time. It's great. You guys are just great. If you're not in the Discord, check out the Discord because we're in the Discord all day, and there's always that's where the serious discussion has, and you're really missing out on things if you're not in the Discord. And I will see you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, Stay profitable, friends.